Hello and welcome back to your daily dose of Dominion with your host kirbyone. We'll be getting into turn 97. Yes, you heard me right, 97. Wow, time really flies when you're having fun, huh? Let's get right into it. Turn 97 is getting into spring of year 8 of the Ascension Wars. And in all this time since the last video of my daily dose, I have been slowly but steadily building my forces, prepping my defenses, and planning my next moves and actions. Unfortunately, my enemies have not been idle. Well, right now my only enemy is actually Hinnom. Everyone else is ostensibly either my ally in the war or at least sort of neutral to me. There is one important thing, though, that is going to cover the majority of this video, and that is that in the intervening time, as well as building more armies, summoning more troops, recruiting more mages, and rebuilding my lands, I cast a couple of things. One of them is Eyes of God. I figured all those astral mages that were getting feeble-minded by casting astral projection randomly and hoping that they hit something that is not another astral mage could be saved the trouble by just looking at everything simultaneously. So we're doing that. One of the things I'm going to cover primarily in this particular video is the score graphs, because those will be fun to look at. We can get rid of Niflheim, Yomi, and Helheim, because these are the only players left. Now, in terms of provinces, this was the first time I was invaded by Niflheim. This was provinces. Yeah, this was when I was fighting Ermor. As you can see, he went up, I went down. And this is sort of the rest of the game, and then this is just me being like this truce period here. In that time, Ermor sort of got a little bit back from Hinnom, but Tianchi has been taking the hits, and Hinnom has been winning that war while I've just been sitting out and watching, unfortunately for him, and also unfortunately for me, because that means that I did not take an opportunity, which this is really exactly the point when Hinnom is starting to make gains. When I started my truce is when he started to make gains against Tianchi. So if I had actually not truced then and joined in with Ermor and Tianchi, might have been able to stave that off a little bit. But I guess we'll never know. Forts, I'm actually one of the front runners, evenly matched with Ermor. Ermor's strategy has been basically just build forts everywhere so he can recruit as many mages as possible. And that, well, you know, kind of worked for him a little bit. But unfortunately, Hinnom has way more forts than either of us. So there's that. As far as income goes, my income has been ridiculously all over the place. But it's sort of okay right now. Ermor's is actually through the roof because he's got scales, and Hinnom has been taking all of Tianchi's income. As far as gem income goes, no surprise that Hinnom has been the front runner in basically all of this. This is every time that Ermor was raiding me, I would lose massive amounts of gem income because I couldn't hold on to my lands. But I'm still back up to here. Pretty high up with all of my capitals that I'm holding on to, and Tianchi is losing out on the on his own gem income because of losing lands to Hinnom. As far as research goes, I've been bottom of the pack, unsurprisingly, the whole game. Ermor has been doing really well with all the mages that he's got, and Tianchi actually was doing really well for himself. Apparently Hinnom and I are neck and neck. As far as Dominion goes, my Dominion has been actually pretty strong for most of the game after I recovered from my first invasion and took those two capitals and all those thrones and then just sort of shot through the roof. But Hinama's starting to outpace me with that. Army size, I've never really had a very big army. My army has been primarily dependent on being superpowered, sort of doom stacks that get buffed with every conceivable spell buff and are sacred. Tianchi was relying a lot on super combatants, as was Hinam. But it looks like Hinam's starting to do a lot of summoning, and Airmore just always had, well, like I said in another video, he basically turned into middle-age Airmore over the course of this game, so undead everywhere. And as far as ascension points, I'm the front runner, and I intend to not only capitalize on that, but expand that as well. First target is this throne, which is on my border, like I said, so I'll be going straight for that. I have a lot of yogis as, well, they should be communion slaves, but I apparently did not script them to do that, and that's probably because I'm going to just have them all cast, or I'm going to have somebody cast Light of the Northern Star, but I'm not seeing it. But I can get it with him if I decided to do that. He's also going to be my gem carrier. Oh, of course, I have Light of the Northern Star. I made one of the banners, so go me. Save on that a little bit. This is my Air Force. I've been getting massive amounts of eagles because I had nothing else to spend my air gems on, and that was one of my highest incomes. 15 air gems a turn. 13, 23. Yeah, I've just been spamming the eagles basically in this province. I got Queen of Air, and the way that I got that actually was, well, as you can see, I built the Sword of Many Colors, stuck it on one of these guys, and then just summoned her. I broke into artifacts at Construction 8 pretty late, way behind, it looks like, Hinam, because at least that's my guess. I'm guessing that Hinam got a lot of things that I actually would have wanted. I would have wanted, where is it? I would have wanted this, the Tome of High Power, for Astral and Air. Those are two things that I can really use, but that was taken. Another thing that I want at some point is probably Tempest, but I actually wind up spending most of my air gems to get eagles instead. This winds up being basically a fort cracking army. I just have so many eagles that and huge numbers of troops that there's nothing that can not be broken in one turn. At least that's my theory and my plan. So I'm going straight for this one. He's only got about 60 units, but he's got 4 Cohens and a Melkort, at least one Melkort. So that's probably going to be a pain in the butt. I did message both Airmore and Tianchi because they've been in the area saying don't move on this throne because I'm going to take it. And they're welcome to try and stop me, but I don't think that they care to, and I don't think that they could even if they did care to. What else? I got a lot of Lamias. I got a lot of Sacreds that I recruited again. Massive stack of Gandharvas, front and center, and lots of my power mages back in action. I have Weapons of Sharpness, Petrify, Legions of Steel, Strength of Giants, a second Weapons of Sharpness just so that I can, Celestial Music, Anti-Magic, Wave Warriors on anybody I can hit with that, and then a couple of random Gifts of Heaven, Mass Protection, Army of Giants. Yeah, basically I'm just throwing, oh, and then Rain. I'm throwing everything at this, and just gonna try and have the most ridiculously amazing high-powered troops that you will see on a battlefield. Don't forget that they have their Bless, which is regeneration, fortitude, and magic weapons. So yeah, we're gonna take a look at that battle next turn. That's just the taking the province battle. He might have some people patrolling there, but if he doesn't, it maybe won't be as interesting. But then the sieging the fortress will, or storming the fort, will be much more interesting. I also got my 1, 2, 3, third hero who hasn't died yet. To a random stray arrow, or sadly to Neefle Giants. Yeah, the King of the Jungle. Probably one of my least useful heroes right now, in part because as soon as he leaves the forest, he becomes Nature 2. He's not astral, so he can't get into communion, and he can't even bless himself, so, you know, that's great. But if I had gotten him earlier in the game, Nature 3 would have been very helpful, actually, because that would have been able to break me into a lot of things nature-wise that he could have helped my Pretender with, like forging things like cornucopias, forging thistle maces, and stuff like that, because my gurus can't, and I need to rely on getting a Nature 2 random with my power mages in order to get that, which is not particularly reliable. So he would have been great earlier, but he's here now, and I'm really just kind of sitting him out and leaving him on the bench with this. I've got a bunch of fire mages now that I've recruited, and I'm going to cast Fires from Afar on this province just to soften him up, not because I seriously expect to do a whole lot of damage, but there's that. That is not my only front, though. It's the only place that I'm attacking right now, so that I draw his attention and his units in this direction and make him panic, hopefully. But I also have plans to start a push in this direction, probably for this throne. And then because Hinnom has taken this, and this, I have a second group with my prophetized King of Elemental Earth, which I got back the turn after he died to Airmore in that war, and he's going to lead a push in this direction for this throne eventually. That's my plan. I'm sort of building up forces, but this is really my main push. This is the biggest force that I've got, and it's going there. I also have sort of a mini backup here with a couple of recruitable sacreds, but not really a whole lot of stuff to boost them other than these guys, with a lot of communion masters and then just 2 of these guys to literally just sit around and die while everyone else is spamming paralyze. What else? Kailasa is finally a valuable province again. I say valuable, but it's really just sad compared to its glory days. And I've just been recruiting from there as often as I can. I sort of stuck a forest dome here in case anyone wanted to do stuff like cast disease or whatnot on these provinces. I don't really care about Kailasa at this point anymore. I've got the mages that I am going to use, and the ones that I have I can recruit more of, so I'm keeping one of these guys, a water and earth random, as backup, and then I can just stick a thistle mace or a ring of water on him, and he can recruit all of my power mages himself as well. And what else? Yeah, I've moved everyone out of my forts to the front lines, basically. I've got a lot of random cross-path enchantresses all over the place. And I don't really have a whole lot of Siddhas because at this point I really needed troops, so I made a lot of Gandharvas with my pearls instead. of making these guys. And I could, at this point in the game, make the Devatas as well, which are basically super combatant Siddhas that don't have teleport and have Air 3 Astral 2 instead of Air 2 Astral 3. And they're still Holy 3, but they have amazing weapons and armor and attack skill and still have 4 arm slots. And are just generally speaking really good at life. But I'm not making them. So, alas. Yeah, my strategy is basically just Thug Rush Hinam and see what happens. So my target is this throne. He still hasn't put a fort on this throne, and Airmore is building a fort on this throne, but I promised Airmore that I would not attack him so long as he does not attack me. So I will not do that. This throne is going to get lost to Hinam at some point pretty soon. And these two belong to Hinam. And is still alive, barely. But I'm taking this last fort of his. And then I don't even know where he is still alive at this point. I think that's probably his last province. But I guess we'll find out next turn. Other than that, let's see, messages, nope, research. Let's take one last look at research. What I have is what I'm going to use. Basically, I'm going to start throwing all of my mages into war, and Conjuration 9 I don't even really care about. I could get stuff like, what, Tarasks, I guess, or Rudras, Devalas. It's just, they're too expensive for my strategy. I really need Gandharvas for my frontline troops. And yeah, I don't think I'd really use a whole lot of these. It's just sort of like a because I can, and because I don't think I really want or need anything else. I need battlefield magic at this point. Beast Mastery might work if anyone started using animals. I can't really cast a whole lot of these other things. Master and Slave would be hilarious, but way too hard to get. And then, yeah, Enchantment 8 I'm going to have so that I can do Mass Regeneration. And then that's that, pretty much. And I've got enough whatchamacallums, cornucopias lying around that I can just stick one on anybody and be able to cast Mass Regeneration. I got the Summit just because I could and because it'd be cool. Armor piercing 28 magic damage, that's amazing. Plus 6 defense, plus 12 attack. Yeah, and it's a one-handed item, so with length 1. So at some point I'm gonna get probably another Siddha, or maybe just this Siddha, and stick it on him, and then just be like, yeah, he's awesome. He can kill anything, pretty much. Yeah. What else? That's pretty much it. See, with high air, that I'm sticking all my air boosters on her, and with Sword of Many Colors and Winged Helmet on her, she's getting a crap ton of eagles every turn. So that's why I was doing this. And then any eagles I need, I can just ferry around with her and send them to the front lines. That's my plan, at least. Alright, enough talk. I think that's pretty much the highlights, and we are finally going to move on toward the end game. It's all coming down to this, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if I can pull it out. Alright, that's all for tonight. Have a good one.